Hey guys, so in the previous video we saw that how we can use absolute positioning to place any component app with respect to the parent in terms of absolute left, top, right or bottom, right? So let's quickly change one more thing. We'll say the font weight to be 600 because it's the title, right? It has to be a little bold. So now we have the background image. Now we also have the title. What else we want to show? So what we can see is that for this particular witch hunter Robin, we were not able to get any background, right? So what we can do is we can actually add a check. The check will be if background color is not equal to empty string, then only render it. So you can see now, since it's an empty string, so it didn't render this text component. So you don't see that empty space, right? Okay, that's great. So let's come back a little bit and let's find some. Okay, even here we don't have the background. Let's go back. Yeah, so what we want is there should be a little bit of spacing between the background and the image, right? So what we can do is we'll go to the main image and we'll say margin bottom of 20 pixel. Okay, that's great. Now what else we can do is we can see that our text is getting there is absolutely no space between our text and the screen, right? So we need to give some room so that they can breathe. So what we can do is we can actually start wrapping our things in another view, and this view we will give a style called as styles.extra_info container, and we'll give some padding to this. Now when we give some padding to this, probably we'll give a padding horizontal of 20 pixel. So now we can see that okay, there is decent amount of room to breathe. I think 16 should be better. Yeah, 16 looks way much better, right? So now we have our background defined. I mean the styles of the background is now defined. Let's define the other things. So other thing is type, right? What type it is. So we'll say styles.type, and we'll define this type, and the type we want the font weight to be a little heavy. So we'll say we'll go with 700. We'll say font size of this should be a little bit bigger, so I'll say I'll probably go with 24, and if I give it a color of black, it should look pretty decent now. Yeah, so what we can do is you can see that this is, let's see, what is this? 45 is the rank, right? So we can place the rank. We can definitely remove from. We don't need from. So what we can do is we can place the rank, type and rating in a horizontal stack, right? So for that what we can do is we can wrap them in a view, and this view we'll call as styles.generic info container. Now what we need to do in order to make it in a vertical stack is we need to first change flex direction as row. So when we do that, now you can see this type, the rank if I'm not wrong, and the rating, now they are in a vertical stack but they are not centered aligned with respect to each other. So what we can do is we can say align items center. So when we do that, we have this thing, right? And what else we can do is we can say justify content, and we can say space between, so that they all are going to take some, they are all going to take extreme spaces, right? As much as possible. That's how justify content works, right? Okay, that's great. Now what we can do is we can also say that we want to have a margin bottom of, okay, margin top rather, margin top. But there is a problem. Okay, we'll tackle that problem. So let's not give margin top here. The reason we will not give it here, so you can see that this container, right, where the image is placed, right? So we are saying that image will have a margin bottom of 20 pixel, right? That's great. Okay, now after image what we have is the background, right? The text component which is rendering the background, but there is a chance that background may come empty, and in that case we are not rendering anything. So if we give margin top to generic info container, and if this is not present, then we are already getting a margin bottom. So what we can do is we can add a check here. If so, we'll say margin top, and we'll say if background is present, then definitely add 20, else add it as 0. Now the significance of this will be evident the place where we will not have a background. Okay, we still have a background. Yeah, now we don't have a background and it still looks pretty decent, right? If we wouldn't have added this condition, if we would have simply said that background will be, so now there is a margin bottom coming from the image, and now we are also putting margin top. So now the space is bigger compared to the place where we have background, which will be evident, right? You can immediately see, right? So that's the reason we are adding this check. Now once we have this thing, we are almost there. Okay, we also saw one more case, that there is a possibility that the trailer image is null, so we'll again check. If it is true, then only we'll render, else we'll not render anything. Okay, so that's pretty much sorted. Let's quickly give some styles to these components as well. Rank, we'll keep the styles for rank and ratings same. So we'll say rank has a color of black and font size as let's say 14, font weight as 500. Okay, that's great. Now what else we can do is we can add a pressable, and we'll wrap this image with the pressable. The reason is that this image is associated to a trailer, and the trailer is basically present on YouTube. So what we can say is on press, we can call linking. So basically it's a package coming from React Native. If you see linking, and what we can say is, okay, so so now we have added this in with a condition that if image URL exists, then only render the image, else not. So I think that's pretty good for now, and we'll be continuing with some more concepts and some more aesthetic changes in the upcoming video. Thank you so much.